That's the first.
And is this the assigned subject, which
Yes.
is night lights?
Yes, it is.
Okey-dokey.
All right, away we go.
Wow.
All right.
Definitely not good canning
11. It's a nice documentary shot, obviously taken from a different perspective. It's always good to change your height, and you really changed your height here. Oftentimes people will be bothered by that Ferris wheel in the corner, but I think it adds a little more drama. And the balance is nice. It's sort of a classic composition of 5/8, sort of the golden proportion with the leading line of the main boulevard there into the farthest hotel.
Jolly lights. Symmetrical shots are best if they're symmetrical, and this is a very symmetrical shot, so good job. The gaps create space and draw your eye into the picture, into the furthest lights. Probably the only criticism is whatever those elements leading you out of the frame at the top at about 10 o'clock are a little distracting. Other than that, it's a nice symmetrical image. Light up night in Pittsburgh.
I've never taken a picture of Pittsburgh, but people do good jobs of Pittsburgh. This is very nice. The gold is bold, contrasting with the blue in the upper left. It leads you into it. Oh, you're going to follow along. I was peeking over to the right to see if that last building got in, and it did. And so that didn't distract me. It's just the lights are off a little. So well composed. The contrast of the golds and the blues, complementary colors are nice. And I have to say, you're taking it, I don't know where, but somewhere obviously at level with the middle, which is why most of the buildings look pretty straight. But if there was any distortion, a good job of correcting and post-processing is because everything looks parallel and straight. It's a nice shot. This is the button. Okay.
The city at night, a view from West End Overlook.
Sure.
10.
Oops.
Unless this is out of focus, but it looks a little soft, which works if you push that. But other than that, nice foreground empty space. Negative space is always a strong comment that rivers, confluence of the rivers create that. And again, fairly well proportioned, balanced, in that about a third, 3/5 to the left and the rest to the right. So, and the horizon straight.
Lights in the moon.
9. This is a tough shot. I'm not sure how it was captured, but to expose for the moon and all these other elements in a single shot would be difficult. Probably better done in a composite. I'm just a bit distracted by the blown out highlights in the middle here and this sort of tablecloth in the lower right. So this might have been a little stronger if maybe a multiple exposure blend for the moon and the other elements.
Northeast night lights.
12. Yep. Nice leading line taking you down, warm field. I like the specular highlights of the street lights are well done, exposed well. A little blown out here, hot, draws your lines, probably the one thing that detracts a little, but other than that, there are no real distracting elements. All the lines are parallel and leading in a similar direction. So
overall fairly well composed.
Blue night sky.
It's very blue there. 9. So this is a night shot, taken at a high ISO, and there's a lot of chromatic and luminance aberration that could be corrected for. I've played with this, and I'm not sure what the shooter did in this instance, but you either take a long exposure with a fast lens so you don't blur the punctate lights of the stars, or you correct high ISO either in camera, there's a high ISO noise reduction, or in post-processing. But just a little bit noisy for my taste, and maybe the exposure is just a bit longer, you get a little movement in the stars.
Out for a smoke.
Is that Andy Rose? I think it is Andy.
No, this looks like.
Smoking a joint.
I was gonna say, if it is, I don't know.
You can't remember.
I can't remember.
Drugs and food, too.
12. Sort of a nice reportage capture shot. Balanced folks here. A little hot there, but not overdone too much. But that's blown out a little there. But other than that, pretty strong composition. 2 groups, both smoking. Separate worlds, separate lives. Good.
Be the light.
Is this the workshop?
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't go to that thing, and I learned how to do this once, and all I was it steel wool you used? Yeah. Gosh, you got to spin it fast, or you burn yourself. So anyway, so I'm going to give you points just for that. So that guy should get the points. I mean, unless he set it up in a tripod, he didn't get any credit. Kind of a fun shot. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give this 13. Good color. I mean, obviously it's got a wow factor. I mean, maybe everyone's not as wowed that went to this workshop, but it is a cool thing to do. Oops. I didn't do that.
I did it.
Okay. Horizon straight, nice color progression, good spectrum of color, and then you have the gold in the right corner. And the person there, I don't find horribly distracting. I mean, that's the central element. They almost kind of add to it that sort of transitions you up and down. So, nice shot.
Fading into darkness.
Oh, I didn't do that.
No.
You get a little
No.
Itchy trigger finger.
12. Again, pretty well exposed. Nice highlights, specular highlights here. Taking advantage of some of the flare. Buildings are maybe just a little soft, but it does add to the overall moodiness. And the river, I guess the Cuyahoga River, the lake is straight there, and I think that's down Cleveland. Yeah, it's Cleveland. So good.
The midnight search.
You know, this is a good composition. The reflection, how it's balanced. This is a little distracting up there and probably detracts from it. And again, some of the comments, I do like the reflections, how it's composed. If this was out, that would help. And it's just a little noisy. I give it a 10.
Moonrise under the bridge.
14.
This is a strong, contrasty picture. Obviously, a lot of dark areas. What's the saying? Patty knows it too. Light illuminates, shadow defines, and this is a neat composition. It's strong line leading you through here, past the light, and good use of, I guess you'd call that negative space with the moon. And then this is exposed pretty well, somewhat helped by the clouds, which provide a filter so it's not blown out. So nice shot.
Nightlight on the bay.
Again, a nice symmetrical shot. Exposed fairly well. You're picking up enough of the highlights here. The vertical aspects create tension, but I think it's just a little too tight on the sides. Maybe it's just cropped a little too much.
A bridge at night.
Uh, 13. Well exposed, good leading lines. This isn't well defined. It kind of creates a sense of mystery, but it goes along with the mood of the entire shot. So I think it's overall a very strong image.
Times Square straight up.
Uh, 12. Strong central subject, leading lines, appropriately leaning because it directs you in. And in this shot, the specular highlights here, they add to it. So, nice shot.
Las Vegas night scene.
I don't know if there's such debauchery in this group.
I know. Everybody's one to Las Vegas. Nobody asked me to go.
11. Kind of takes, the subject's right here, it's bold, it's in the middle. A little distracted by the heads here in the corner. And it's not a big criticism, but this is sort of as opposed to that shot of Pittsburgh. Little bending in the lines, there might be some correction you could have done in post, but that just has to do from the position of the camera here below it, so they're going to tend to converge a bit.
Pleasingly placid.
13. Again, compositionally strong, lots of interesting lights that stand on their own. Again, balanced, a fairly dominant image here, but a second dominant image here in the horizon straight. And you didn't split it right down the middle, which actually I think works well with this, and you didn't bring this too close. This is a good image. A little noisy again, but not a huge criticism. That can be easily corrected.
Practice makes perfect.
Maybe they thought night like K-N-I-G-H-T. No, I'm just kidding. No, so that's fair. 10. Mostly I'd say a documentary shot. Her facial expression, although funny and interesting and perplexing, it doesn't really bring me into her just because I don't see her eyes. But you know, I'd say a nice documentary shot, well exposed and positioned well in the frame.
Tom Ridge in the dark.
13. Again, composed very well, like the elements are placed well. This tree here, you can't get it out of the way, it's not distracting, it's dark, so it doesn't play them. This is somewhat of a long exposure because of the blurring of this, and this adds a softness that only makes it look more sharp in the foreground. And again, complementary colors of the gold and the blue make it a strong image.
Lighting up the night sky.
12. Classic fireworks shot, exposed enough to give you long defined lines that aren't overly distracting, and a single powerful element composed well in sort of the right upper third.
Like lights.
This is an extremely interesting shot, a sports shot done differently. You guys are doing their night ride at the end, but you know, powerful elements, well defined, well focused, and again, the specular highlights that have been used well in the flaring and a lot of these images only add to the power and sense of power that these guys sort of chugging along are portraying. So nice shot.
Night lights at the fair.
Composed well, the colors are bright, if not maybe a little too vibrant, but sometimes that surrealistic look works and maybe what you'd be going for. I'm not convinced on this. This is difficult to me to either kind of blow them out, make them blurry, or make them sharp, but the tweeners are always difficult for me. But this is a very, this would be a good shot for a Chamber of Commerce or a portfolio, very usable.
Pinata Land.
Thank goodness. 13. Good subject matter, a lot of complementary elements leading to the central major element that's placed well inside. I mean, where it should be, and sort of the ill-defined, but obviously seen people add to the sense of festival or carnival of the scene. So, nice shot.
Wet night light number 1.
Sharp, nice, contrasty colors. Vertical compositions are often strong, and this begs to be vertical. Looks appropriate for the scene, and you don't feel crowded or anything, but you feel a sense of tension because of the vertical elements and framing it vertically. Portrait modes are often nice for landscapes or architecture, so nice shot.
Nighttime dock lights.
Just a little soft in the focus. This is a touch blown out, but compositionally again strong. So just with a little more exposure correction or in-camera exposure correction, and maybe a little more sharpness either in post or in capture would add to some strength of this. But the blue and the yellow again are nice, especially in a night shot.
Chinese Lantern Festival.
First of all, this has a wow factor just because it's cool and different, so that alone gets you that part of the score. But, you know, beyond that, this is really well composed, it's sharp, the colors are spot on, everything, these lines pull you right in. This is, you saw something here, and this could be criticized, but I think it adds to the picture because it adds a little more of the mystery and intrigue of the night shot and these things, so this is a real winner.
Calm water.
Some might say this is a bit flat, but it adds to the moodiness. This is fine. It's somewhat of an overcast night, and it adds to the moodiness. People sometimes would criticize this, but this is soft and not, they'll kind of lead you in and you kind of let go of it quickly. You kind of start on it and then leave. And this is framed well and not distracting. Again, it sort of confines you into the image, so nice shot.
Religio fountain.
Did I miss a field trip today?
Nobody invited me, I'll tell you that right now.
You were further south, I think.
14. This has mood, composition, wow factor. The people, the silhouettes of the people really add to this, and there's ample foreground to give you some space to work into it, coupled with sort of the softness of the fountain spraying, and relatively sharp in the back. So this is like sort of three-tiered, interesting photograph, well composed, and good mood, so it's a winner.
Entering the dimension of imagination.
Uh, 15. This has uniqueness to it. It's well done, it's sharp. I'm not really sure what was done here, some sort of long exposure with the light. I'm a big fan of negative space and creating power because of that, and that helps actually frame the more positive elements that is replicated inside the circle. And again, well composed, balanced how it should be.
City traffic.
Strong leading lines, takes you through the picture. I don't really have anything to anchor at the end, but bold colors, somewhat of a graphic shot, so all in all, pretty good shot.
Lights on the bay.
Moody, well exposed, nice color rendition, replication. Leading line into this, balanced by the mast of the whatever ship that happens to be moored there. So, good shot.
Night activity at the Bicentennial Tower.
A 9. It's a little noisy here, again, sort of we talked about in high ISO exposures. And it's a bit distracting. You get a halo effect here, maybe from a little too much contrast in post. And these subjects, like in the other picture, and I'm not comparing the two, but they're kind of lopped on each other, and that creates a bit of confusion.
Hooper River Bridge.
13. Strong graphic elements, well exposed, probably a very good rendition. I'm trying to figure out this up here, and it's probably lights that are just reflecting up, which probably add to it. It's some, sort of balancing the structure down here. I don't find any of this horribly distracting. It's enough to let you know that you're shooting from a marsh, but it's not dominant. And this tree actually adds balance to this picture, which I do like. This would be a really fun one to get on again and post in black and white and see what that did, because that could be a really cool shot. But I mean, this is a good shot in and of itself, obviously. So just if you want, it's a snowy day and you don't feel like shooting this winter one day, go play with this image again. But it's good as it is.
Lighting up Pittsburgh.
Yes. 9. So, night shot, a little noisy up here. Again, some of the long exposure. I'm not sure if this was something in post or it's a dirty sensor or ashes from the other things, but I find that a little distracting. And this just kind of cut off here is a little distracting, as if this was cropped over a little. But the juxtaposition of something going on live and sort of the detritus of the city here was, it's kind of an interesting juxtaposition. Just a few technical issues, though.
Night drive on a bumpy road.
Hopefully not happy hour after the deployment. 13. This is different. I mean, this is some sort of, it could have been done in post, but a really precise or well thought out in-camera movement blur. And again, this is sort of like I was talking about later. This is blurred enough, that was intentional. This is supposed to create a dreamlike effect, which adds to the power of a night image. And the lines are, whatever these are leading you right in to the subject. Converging lines pulling in. It's a good shot.
Christmas at the Cheesecake Factory.
Does everyone get the rumor every now and then that we're going to get a cheesecake factory and everyone gets excited and then it doesn't happen? So, I know. I have a friend that does that. So I guess you got to drive to this one. But anyway, let's see. 12. This should maybe be in the competition in a week. So festive shot. Again, good use of the flare of the lights. So nice color balance. A little dreamy that I think adds a little softness. This is good for creating a mood. Good shot.
Blue light special. Pontiac Lake lighted tree. I just like blue light special. You didn't need the Pontiac Lake.
12, almost a monochromatic picture with use of blues and lights, but mostly blues and blacks, which is actually nice. Good converging lines, symmetrical. Not a well-defined central subject, but that's okay. The lines in of themselves and the architecture of the shot create interest.
Spinning rides at the fair.
Oof. My goodness. I hear it. I'm overwhelmed. 14. The more this shot appears, the more it's powerful. First of all, it's well composed. The sort of star trail effect, for those of you that actually do some night photography, is kind of neat. And then you consider the subject well placed in the image. I'm not even sure what this ride is, but you see the people here, and it's a really powerful graphic image with a lot of
complementary but separate elements. Well done.
A night in Vegas. And they've gone to Vegas.
What happens in Vegas ends up here.
13. Warm, intentionally soft shot, creating a mood, takes some of the harsher elements out, and just creates sort of this dreamlike landscape. It's beyond a documentary shot of which it's good, and they could use this in a Chamber of Commerce publication. It adds a softness and a mood that's nice.
Top of Las Vegas.
Does anybody gamble anymore? Or is it just
They all go and take pictures.
So, again, like the previous shot, a little moody and soft. Probably intentionally, it's one of the ends of the day or beginnings of the day, the happy hour, and then the sky's bright. But a lot of different things were tough to expose and probably done in a single image, but I don't know. But good, and you're softening out Trump. I don't know if that's good or bad for you, and I'm not adding points or subtracting based on that. So. There you go. I didn't say anything. I'm not being political.
Misty twilight at Lavert Lake.
No, this is 15. This is easy. Wow, what a strong shot. Again, balanced. You have a nice foreground. It's smooth, calming, bringing you into this further calming picture. The mountains with their ridges, again, well balanced in a classic fashion. And then the sky, almost Advent calendar-esque, if that's a term, that's what I'm going to say. But, that's not it. It's a well-done shot. I just love everything about this. It has the wow factor, and then it's easy to look at all the elements that are, the way it was composed and developed. It's very, very strong. Print it and put it on your wall. Anyway.
Last call, last option.
I'm going to give this is a 13. This harkens back to some of the classic photography, the WPA era, minor weight, and those folks. It could almost be from that time. The black and white adds to the moodiness. The girl coming into the frame adds an energy, and this is a real life moment, not composed. It's a very, very nice image.
Dennis Sullivan.
Oh, okay. Maybe that was the junket to Vegas.
There you go. They took it to Vegas. I don't know.
12. Strong element here, obviously the dominant thing. Maybe a little too much empty negative space, but otherwise well exposed and nice color rendition.
All right. Well, we want to do the other. We want,
No,
okay.
That's what we usually do, right? Look at it
Yeah,
right
review.
afterwards.
Okay.
and you have to uncheck the combine.
You know we don't want to go on. All right, in the,
Bronze.
is the bronze?
Yep.
Okay, the bronze
Wow.
is
Chinese man.
Jan Van
Jan
Sal.
Balsano. I don't know Jan, but
What?
It's a nice image.
Go to next group.
Okay.
in silver our winner
jeez.
A lot of 13s.
is winners, and more winners.
4.
Del Becker.
Del Becker, Olivia Nerulu, Terry Nicotra, and Fred Olds. Chuck Garrett with 13. And in Nancy Rowe and
Next one.
Ning Shen and
John.
Kuzinski.
John Jaslinski and Bob
Wow.
McDonald. And in platinum,
Patty.
Patty Mann,
Ah,
Tom Whitman,
All right. Now exit.
Yep.
Okay.
We have to go select competitions again. We're going to the other.
I hit select competitions. I hit that thing. Now we go check this.
uncheck.
Uncheck that. Then we go here.
Judge.
Yeah, judge, right there. And
Plus, yeah. You see that?
Okay.
And put the plus on.
whoop,
Just make sure that the
yeah,
combined
combine
levels.
levels, right, right. Okay. Now,
Judge.
There's only 30 languages.
okay, another competition.
thanks very much, yes.
You're gonna see everything, anything. 39 images, that's not a lot of images. Dust at Cedar Key.
Yeah. Yeah.
12.
Might have a nice Christmas.
Again, I feel like
See ya.
I'm still in the night shots, but this is, aside from that, it's a good one to be in the general competition. Well composed, balanced, the pier moorings drawing in the lines of the telephone poles drawing in the central subject. Well exposed, moodiness, appropriate softness to add to the moodiness. Nice shot.
Hot air balloons.
Again, everything's leading you up and away, my beautiful. Anyway, love the cloud detail, adds to it. The various sizes due to the distance of the balloon. The only thing I might be slightly critical of is the touching of this stuff, but you know, wait a second, pop it again, or who knows, another one may be crossing, but other than that's the only minor criticism I had, but nice shot.
Seabrook birds.
11. Interesting elements of this are the reflections that are included, appropriate, creating a symmetry and
powerfulness. It's a little hot, and either doing this at a different time of the day or warming it up in post might add it to it. And the more animals you add to a picture, the harder it is to get it right, unless you're Bob Grubbs, because he always gets it right. But, you know, the eyes are everything in wildlife photography, not so bothered by the absence of the hair, but, you know, just a little more sharp in the eyes. But that's always tough. The more you have, the tougher it is to get it. But the separation and all is good.
Garden fence.
Nice still life. Not quite sure what the lighting was used, whether reflectors or post or both, but it's a nice balance, and the texture of the railings or pickets, I guess, are good. The yellows with the greens are nice complements. The contrast, everyone always talks about color and light, but you know, the life, live and dead, is sort of neat too. The anonymous and not anonymous. But no, nice shot.
Katya.
Uh, 10. Again, getting back to color theory and what the balance of the green and the reds is nice. It's a little soft, which is fine if there's a lot soft in a central element, but it just is a little soft throughout and makes it difficult to decide what the central element of this image is.
Next lesson.
This is 13. So this shot, first of all, it's cute and could go on a zoo calendar, whatever zoo or wherever you shot it. Maybe your backyard can be on your backyard calendar. But yeah, it's a nice moment. And the central placement sort of tells you that it's a nice moment. And the lines obviously leading to it, but the sharpness is on this. And this image has nice sharp eyes, so nice shot.
Expression of the generation.
12. Now there's a school of thought that, you know, is a picture of art, and my solid school of belief is yes. So that's my opinion. But, and I think it's appropriate. It's neat. It creates a grayness or roughness. The graffiti, best forever in paradise. That's the message. I guess I didn't really read that, but I'm just looking at the graphic nature of all this. But it's nice.
I wish.
Um, 11. So these macro type shots, got to decide what you want to do, but certainly something needs to be really sharp. And the bokeh or the blurring of the background effect is appropriate. This could have been warmed a little better, either by color temperature correction, and maybe a little sharper would have added to this image. But it's composed well and put a thing. This bokeh is a good element, especially in macro. But you want something really to pop in the middle sharp.
Flowing.
11. Central to the picture, obviously the dominant object, framed by all this. This is just a little hot over there, a bit distracting. So I think if the image had maybe this had been cooled off or eliminated, it been a little stronger. But it does have a dreamlike sort of painterly effect that, you know, is nice sometimes.
The sous chef.
Uh, 14. This is a powerfully composed image. Obviously gives a great sense of place. Sharp, engaging eyes showing the strength of this character with the sous chef's helpers at the back adds to the sort of hierarchical power of it. It's a nice, it's a strong image. And well done in the black and white. I try to not judge black and white too high because I'm hugely biased for it. So, but this deserves it. This was a well-chosen black and white conversion or capture.
Lines, angles, and shadows. Oh
Gosh, now
my.
you can make me sound like a real jerk, but. So, ditto. This is like an Art Becker image.
I know.
So, but maybe it's a disciple of art, as many of us are, or dabbler in Art Becker. But I would give this a 14. Graphic, well composed, sharp. The lines are dead on. Nice compliment, obviously set up by the shadow cast, but and you know, this isn't really distracting. I think it fills in these gaps and it adds to the image. I like a lot about this. Nice shot.
Calling Uber.
Uh, 12. You know what, I'm going to change that. 13. There's a couple things that really jumped out. I think that's it. So can you do that? Did I screw you up?
No,
Did I
no.
ruin the whole competition? I'm sorry.
Almost.
So-
Just running this, yeah.
Well composed. This line is really cool. I kind of missed that on my first couple look-throughs, and this really brings you into it. And this sort of framing halo thing adds to it again. More lines, drawing you in. Strong image, creates a mood, and kind of a fun title, makes sense. Shutterstock might buy that for an Uber thing.
Sure. Catching up with Pittsburgh.
Oh, man, you gotta get a few points at least for the title. And this is a 12. It's a strong shot, sharp, nice color rendition. I find these colors back here not blown out, subtle but not distracting, creates sort of a strong background that makes this stuff pop. This pole was kind of a bit bothersome, but it's not horribly detracting from it. Just position it a little more laterally, maybe step to the right.
Job with a view.
I'll say, wow. That's not, I would never want to do this job. It's not the image. The image is creating an emotion in me, and that gives power to it. Yeah. 12. So, clearly the image itself is tense. Even though this is sort of a square, it's really sort of a vertical shot. He's up and down, this is up and down, this is up and down. And this adds power because it gives a great sense of place and where this guy is. So it's a good shot.
Hero clock.
It also evokes emotion.
10, well exposed. This is placed well, maybe a little more of this in the foreground. This is adding a little distraction. You might have brought some of this out and sort of just gone with this.
Sailing out of the sunset.
Uh, 10. So the colors are nice. It's a good time of day, good time of day up, but a tough time. You got something in foreground and shadow with a very hot sun, and this would be very difficult to capture in a single image, so that this is a little blown out. This could probably be recovered a bit. So the colors are nice, the layering is nice, the colors are complementary, and just a little bit crowded with these, a little more room might create less sense of crowding, which is a little problematic, but other than that, it's okay. So, tough, that's a tough shot. I don't know who can get that in one capture unless you have a medium format phase 1 that has a dynamic range of 15. That would be hard to capture in a single image.
The pier at sunset.
This is meant to be intentionally soft. Again, it's a mood shot. The swirlingness adds to the theme of a dream. Again, the softness of the shot and the leading lines. The people here are fine. I don't find them distracting. Their silhouette adds sort of a graphic element, and the line out here is good. It's a nice calming shot that creates a mood.
River walk.
Uh, 11. Little flat up here, the light. It's just the time of day. It's setting. This is warm and nice. I find that a little distracting. This is fun, nice long exposure, and what actually is nice about this shot, unless it's like someone on a jet ski, it's good that you can create this amount of blur, and these folks, although they may be not moving too fast, are pretty sharp. So.
Coast of Maine.
Uh, 12. This is a great Chamber of Commerce shot. This is just what they want, and it is a good shot. The lines, everything's cool. This, bring it here, sort of that S sort of leading lines are powerful. The waves are captured well. It creates tension and action. Jack Hannon always made this comment, this would have been a little better picture if you'd either gone and taken a nap and done it a little later or gotten up a little early. It's just a little hot, but that could have been corrected in post-processing as well.
Allegheny.
First of all, composed well, leading line into a sort of dreamy dreamscape. Some fog, might even been cooler with some more fog, but that's just luck or not luck. Use of long exposure is nice. Waterfalls or moving water is tricky. Again, much like other long exposures, you want to make sure there's a definite line between making it sharp, which sometimes works, with running water. Waterfall pictures are smoothing it out, making it dreamy. And this person opted for the latter, and it works. And, you know, the colors look real and well rendered.
A view of Toledo.
Wow. I guess Tuscany or something. I don't know. That's pretty cool. That's cool. 12. So, very busy shot that at first glance may say, what's going on here? You know, it's a documentary, and it's, you know, the whole city, but there's a line that sort of brings you in and out of the shot, and in the middle you're catching these buildings, the sky, you know, it gives a nice background and contrast to the terracotta foreground of this city, so it's a good shot.
Body art.
So, vertical composition, vertical elements, she's obviously very vertical. Closeness of the hand to the edge, this all creates tension. I think it is a shot that is commanding tension, and that helps amplify your sense of strength and flexibility. Nice tonality and rendition of the highlights, sharpness and the detail of the shadow here. It's a good shot.
Last Feast of Autumn.
Hmm. 15. So this is macro 501. This is sharp, the elements, again, getting back to popping, even the elements of the pollen, showing the action that's going on, the gathering of the pollen. Great. This just happens to be in the same plane. It's sharp. It actually brings you into it, but this whole background is appropriately blurred and soft. Perfect. Perfect framing with the bokeh of the background. And here you got two great color elements here, you know, yellows and purples, which are perfect. You know, the relative lower percentage of yellow against the larger percentage of purple. Again, perfect color theory, composition, sharpness, everything's great about this shot.
Reflection of a wood duck. Wood duck. Wood duck.
Woogie duck.
15. This is the same elements here. I mean, this, first of all, this duck, and I have no doubt this is how this duck looks. It's not overdone in any way. And again, the softness of this water. This is an incredibly strong element. This would not have been nearly as good an image with just this thing positioned here in this all green. I mean, this just adds to the power, and the reflection is beautiful. This is great.
Butterfly.
Uh, 13. Again, a lot of those